and you probably know him best from the roast of Gene Simmons. Please put your hands together and welcome Craig Gass!
Holy shit. Alright, can I ask the most obvious fucking question? Because we're all thinking it, right? And I'm gonna ask it. Because I've been watching Flip, and I would think he would at least address this. And that question, obviously, is, do we need a fucking microphone for this? There's 20 people in this room. What the fuck am I amplifying my voice for? Like, isn't this as effective as this? I'm right in front of you. I've had more people involved in fucking drug deals than are in this room right now. This is like a big AA meeting. I got a microphone in the middle of a fucking AA meeting.
Alright, I guess I'll get this meeting started.
I want to share too.
Fuck you, I got to the meeting first. I get the microphone, okay? Shut up. Alright, I have a microphone. Shut your mouth.
But this is perfect. Because I've been offered a lot of cruises in my life. A couple dozen of them. And this is the first time I've ever been on a cruise, let alone perform on a cruise. This is it. This is my first time. And I wanted my first time to be just like this. Quiet and shitty. That's what I wanted. I just wanted this small audience, maybe less than 1% of the ship, to know that it's happening. Here's what happened, man. I called my agent. I was mad because he never books me on cruises that I want to do. And I called him up and I was yelling at him. I actually picked the phone and I was screaming. I said, "Hey! What the fuck?" And my agent, who's always trying to pacify me, was like, "What's wrong, baby?" Because my agent calls me baby. I call him bitch. Listen, bitch! Why don't you pick up the phone and get me booked on a cruise, man? I keep telling you, man, all the offers we got aren't cool. Book me on something. My agent was like, baby, that's all you had to say. I'll get you on the Kiss cruise. We'll make it work. Yeah. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And he said, yeah, we'll put you on the main deck after the band. I was like, fuck the main deck. How about in a rapey room down below? What? Rape room! Rape room? Yeah, look, trust me, there's a place where the carnival employees take women to rape them. It's dark and it's downstairs. This is a clean show, by the way. And that's where I want to be, in the rape room. Okay, man, stop yelling. I'm telling you. Okay, man, take it easy. Wait. Don't hang up. The crowd is very important. What about them? The energy, what about it? None. I want them staring at me like, what the fuck happened to the rest of this ship? And lighting is important. What do you want? One, just one in front. That's it. And 5 small ones that don't make a difference. And this is perfect! But guess what? This, I don't know why I'm looking up here like there's a crowd. I'm like, guess what? Nobody? Guess what? Pop roll where people are trying to masturbate in peace. This is where comedy is born, right here. Comedy's not born on a big stage in front of 10,000 people. No! Comedy's born in shitty situations like this in front of 20 people. This is where all comedians and all musicians say you have to find your voice. And once you find your voice, you take off. I've been going to do comedy shows for years, watching comedians struggle in front of small crowds. Like this. Trying to figure it out. I've watched comedians long before they became famous, like Adam Sandler. Yeah. Adam Sandler, who used to be one of the most misogynistic comedians I've ever seen. He was filthy, but it didn't fit him. Comedians would see him after the show, they'd see him out in the alley, and they'd go, "Hey! Hey man! Yeah, why are you doing that dirty shit? I know, but like a sweet-looking Jewish kid, man. You know what? You should come back next week with a guitar, play some cute songs or something. That'd be funny coming from you. But he kept trying to do what he thought was funny. He'd go up and do dirty jokes, and it didn't fit him. He'd come out on stage, bring comedians, bring him out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your next comedian, Mr. Adam Sandler. All right, that's good. Thank you. Much appreciation. My name's Adam, and are you guys like me? Do you like to lick a girlfriend's butthole? Shibby-doo. Yoo-hoo! Why'd you say that? That was mildly inappropriate. Are you kidding me? I used to watch Christopher Walken do stand-up comedy. It's true. Don't doubt me, audience members number 4 and 5. And Christopher Walken's problem is comedians would see him after the show, they'd see him out now, and they'd go, "Hey! Yeah, you know you're creeping everybody the fuck out! That was scary! No, man, that wasn't funny at all, you are scary! You made half the crowd leave! And we only have 30 people in this room! That's messed up! You know what? You should be an actor, you got a dramatic face. But he kept trying, and Christopher Walken was filthy. If you thought Andrew Dice Clay was dirty, you should have heard Christopher Walken stand up act. Christopher, come out. Hi. My name is Chris. And these are my jokes. Are you like me? Do you hate cunts? I've dated 4 or 5 cunts. The last cunt, I hated so much, I hit her in the face with a cowbell. Pow! You are promoting domestic violence. You can't say that. Are you kidding me? I remember watching Tracy Morgan do stand-up comedy. When Tracy Morgan's whole act is he'd go up and try to start a race war in the club. It was uncomfortable. Tracy would just stare at all the white people around and be like, yeah. I'm gonna kill every white motherfucker in this place. I'm serious. All the white people look the same to me. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm gonna put a baby in your butthole. What did you? Can't talk to me like that. I don't care. Give me a shoehorn and some butter spray. I'm down with the brown. That story is actually not from the early days. That was last Friday in Caroline's. And actually, Ricky, I saw Tracy Morgan on Friday, and I go, "Tracy, are you going up?" And Tracy looked at me. He never knows who I am. Every time I see him, he goes, "Hey, what's up, Sergio?" And I was like, "Sergio." But I'm telling you a story. I remember back when Morgan Freeman used to do stand-up comedy. Stop laughing, this is true. It interrupts too much when I have 30 people laughing at the same time. I remember Christopher Walken, and Morgan Freeman's problem is Morgan Freeman was supposed to do a 10-minute set at a comedy club. He'd go on stage for an hour and a half and have one joke at the end of a 90-minute story. It slowed the whole pace down. Even the way he walked on stage annoyed the shit out of all the comedians. They bring him out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Morgan Freeman. Morgan, welcome out. Hi. I want to tell you a story about a boy. Her name's Johnny. It seems Johnny walked up to his daddy one day and said, "Daddy, what's this between my legs?" Well, Johnny's daddy answered, and he thought about it. He thought about it for a long time. 22 years later, Johnny was in Shawshank for a crime he didn't commit. Motherfucker, make a point. I have a 2-drink minimum and I'm on a cocaine buzz. You better pick this show up, baby. I need some jokes. Are you kidding me? I remember watching Sam Kinison do stand-up comedy. See, you're applauding the Sam Kinison you know and love. I remember Sam, when he had no act, Sam would just go on stage and beg for cocaine for 15 minutes. It was embarrassing. It was sad. You get up on stage, "Hey folks, my name is Sam Kinison. And I want to thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for supporting stand-up comedy. But what you may not know is most of the comedians tonight aren't making any cash. In fact, some of us are lucky if we get any free drinks for doing stand-up comedy. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass around hats, and we get everybody to chip in maybe $10 or $20 into the hat. And then we're going to page 1 or 2 phone numbers out of this guy's cell phone. And I think we might be able to score some blow! But my point is this. I don't have a point. When you can do impressions, people are so happy. You get on stage, people go, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the guy that does celebrity voices in the Howard Stern Show. And you hear him on Family Guy. Please welcome Mr. Craig Gass." And then you'll be on stage and people will yell out requests for impressions. Sometimes the requests don't make any sense. You'll be on stage and someone will go, "Hey! Do Casey Kasem doing Elvis? And show us your dick." And how many Casey Kasem or Jack Nicholson impressions have you heard in your lifetime? You know what I mean? Casey Kasem doing Elvis. I'll give you Casey Kasem doing Elvis here. "Hi, I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm doing Elvis. Down one notch and in at number 2. I'm doing Elvis." You can do Cartman from South Park doing Elvis. "Goddamn Elvis, you got some big old titties. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Kiss my butts." Here's some Sean Connery for you. Did some of you get offended that I was having sex with the stool? Still in there. All right, Sean Connery, bring us all together. Sean Connery. Doing Elvis. Here we go. Yes. Yes, so Elvis. You like it sloppy, don't you? How'd you like the Goldfinger? Stories like, "Hey, did you see the interview with Gene Simmons?" "No," and I would tell him about it. They're like, "Gene said that?" I go, "Yeah, it's hilarious." And then we're trying to think like, how could I use this on the air? And I came up with an idea. How about every time we have a musical guest in the studio, I will continually interrupt them as Gene Simmons and just start selling Kiss products right in the middle of the interview. And I would do that to every musical guest. We had Paul McCartney in the studio. And I'm sitting in the background, and he has no idea who I am. They go, "Paul," they have him talk about his new album. And in the middle of Paul McCartney's interview, I go,
"That sounds great, but let me interrupt you for 1 second. By the way, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And if you go to kissonline.com right now, you will see how the Beatles have stolen everything from Kiss."
and Paul McCartney's staring at me like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm going to give you a perfect example, Paul. Name how many members were in the Beatles. Tell me. 4, right? How many members were in Kiss? 4. Thank you. Go to kissonline.com.
It didn't make any sense at all. And I would come up with, and then Paul McCartney would continue talking and say, "Well, you know, they're putting out a box set of the Beatles retrospective."
That's great. You know, Kiss just came out with a new Kiss chili recipe. And Paul's like, "What? Kiss? Can you just be quiet, Paul?" Kiss chili recipe. at kissonline.com. Now, Paul, you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between regular chili and Kiss chili, right? Well, first of all, you're gonna pay $50 for Kiss chili. That's number one. And number two, imagine 20 minutes after you eat Kiss chili, you hear from your stomach, you actually hear, "You wanted the best. You got the best. The hottest chili in the world." And from out of your ass comes the biggest flame, Kiss. Kiss chili. Kissonline.com.
And so here's the weird thing. Gene starts getting hate mail from people going, and people would see Gene in the street and go, "Gene, why are you such a fucking asshole to Paul McCartney?"
What? Did I say something to Paul McCartney?
Yes, you tried to sell your new Kiss chili recipe.
Kiss chili, it's a great idea.
And so he would get hate mail about it, and then one day, we start getting phone calls from Kiss. They actually started calling the Howard Stern show. And Gary Delabate, the producer of our show, would come and go,
Hey guys, you're not gonna believe this. This is actually pretty funny. I got a letter from the official, like an official Kiss headquarters letter, and apparently Gene wants to hear the tapes. He wants to hear Craig doing this.
which how we were tickled, like, wow, Gene and everybody knows about it. And the first word I got was a guy in Philadelphia called me up. He used to work for Kiss, and he said, "Hey man," he goes, "I love your stuff. You know I work for Kiss, man." And I first heard about you about a year ago. Paul called me up and said, "Hey, do you know about this guy?" And I go, "Right on, man." And who's Paul? And he goes, "Paul Stanley." And I go, "Paul Stanley knows who I am?" He goes, "Paul loves when people make fun of cheating." Are you serious? He loves it, and he loves your jokes. And I was like, no way. And then a very scary thing happened. Gary Delabate came up to the floor one day, came into the studio and said,
Hey guys, we got a little bit of a problem. Gene's outside the door and he wants to talk to Craig.
and I was like, he wants to talk to me? And Howard goes, bring him in. I'm like, bring him in? Paul, can we kind of prep? Gene got on a plane, flew to New York to confront me live on the air about my impression of him. So he walks in the studio and he goes, who's everyone in the room? Right here. He's here. Right here. I go, I got it. And then Gene walks in and goes,
First of all, you don't sound anything like me at all, okay? That's number one. And number two, I didn't come here to talk about people who think that they're funny. I came here to talk about something very serious and has never been done before in rock and roll. If you go to kissonline.com,
are you fucking serious?
and he says, you go to kissonline.com, there's something really amazing.
And he started selling a Kiss casket. Like a real, and Howard goes, you're joking, right? And he goes,
No, I'm not. It's a beautiful casket. $5,000, beautiful casket.
and I kept interrupting his sales pitch and going,
You know what else has never been done before in rock and roll? For $1 million, I will throw Ace Frehley into the casket. And Gene kept going, I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious. Hey, fuck you. Hey, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
and no one could tell who the real Gene Simmons was. And we walk out, and I see him outside doing an interview with our camera guy, Ganji. And Ganji goes, hey Gene, what did you think about the new guy, Craig X? And Gene goes,
Well,
and I walked out the door, I got in front of Gene, I said,
I'll tell you what I think. I like him. He's very funny.
and Gene pulled me aside and he said,
Come here. Come here. You know what you did? Took a lot of balls. And I go, you gonna hit me? And he goes, I admire that.
he walked away. I probably lost 5 pounds. And he walks away. It happened to be the same day that I was headlining Caroline's for the first time. Which for a comedian, it's a big deal. The headline Caroline's is really big. Well, I've done it a few times since then. But it was a big deal. First time I was nervous and I was scared. I get a call. I didn't recognize the number, so I let it go to voicemail. I still have the message. It's just short, boop.
Hi, Craig. This is Gene Simmons from Kiss.
He actually said from Kiss on my answering machine. Like, I'm going to confuse you with Gene Simmons from Pet Boys. Like, I don't know who you are.
Listen, I know that today is a big deal for you because you're headlining Caroline's, and I want you to know two things. Number one, the Kiss Army is behind you. And number two, I support you. And that's why I'm going to be in the front row. You can feel free to dress up as your favorite rock star if you like.
And he came to the show, sat in the front row. I made fun of Kiss for like a half hour. And after the show, he sent someone in my dressing room. And I said, hey, Gene wanted me to come back here and tell you that he would like to invite you out tonight. He's going to a strip club. Would you like to come with me? I go, yeah. And I have two friends of mine, huge Kiss fans. I go, is it cool if I bring my friends with me? They go, absolutely, bring whoever you want. We go to the strip club, thinking like, we're hanging out with Gene Simmons at the strip club. All that happened at the strip club was everyone in the strip club wanted to talk to Gene. Everyone. And we sat on the other end of the couch going. And at one point, there's a stripper that's trying to hit on Gene, and Gene goes, he sees me looking pathetic at the other end of the couch, and he goes,
Can I ask you a question? Let me ask you something. Do you listen to the Howard Stern show? You do? Great. Because this gentleman right here is the gentleman who does the impression of me. Isn't that something?
and the girl looked at me and I went, what's going on? And she goes, nothing. And I was like, that's about right. And so he let me into shows. Gene would let me into the concerts. And I would go, and I still loving Kiss, and still, even though I would hear things and go, I don't even know what just happened. I remember seeing Kiss on stage in Las Vegas, and they were playing with Aerosmith, and I remember Paul Stanley in the middle of the show goes, all right, people, now listen. You know, I know that this town is known for its buffets. And I can tell you right now that I see a lot of people in the front row that I really want to eat. Like, what the fuck is going on? So Paul Stanley, after his show, tells me, he says, you know, I love comedy, and I want to see one of your shows. And I go, all right, I'll invite you out. And I go, do you want me to call Doc? And I'll arrange it with Doc? And he goes, I'll give you my number. You just call me and just let me know. And I was like, all right. And I had Paul Stanley's phone number. This was about 6 years ago. I only called him once. The next day, I had to. He picked up the phone. And I hear him go, hello? Hi, Paul. This is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And I hear Paul go, okay. I go, listen, I got a great idea. How about, and Poison was performing with them, I got a great idea. How about Poison doesn't play at all, okay? How about Kiss goes on stage, and after we're done, Poison comes on and does spoken word about how much Kiss kicks ass. And I go, I'm sorry. Paul, it's Craig Gass, the comedian. He goes, you know, I was going to say, you're starting to sound like that fucking comedian. And I got too nervous to talk to him, so I just left it at that. All right, man, you're fucking cool. And then something amazing happened. I got invited to the roast of Gene Simmons, which was amazing because I got to be with my friends. I got to be with, it was me, Jeff Ross, Andrew Dice Clay, Jim Norton, and we roasted Gene. And it was funny because with Gene, there were some lines that you never got to see. And Lisa Lampanelli, who's known for having the biggest balls of any of the dudes, walked out on stage, and the first words out of her mouth, you never heard this on the road, she walked out and she went, Gene Simmons, I've seen better rugs in rapist bands. And we're like, oh my God. Oh, Jesus. And something amazing happened a few months after that. I got a phone call saying, would you like to come to Gene's house and film an episode of Family Jewels? I said, that'd be great. And I came over there, and Gene let me into his house, let me into his office, and Gene let me sit in his chair at the KISS headquarters, and Gene actually let me conduct about 3 hours of radio interviews as Gene Simmons while Gene slept in the other room to the break. And we filmed it. We made it to an episode of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. And after a while, I ran out of shit to say, so I would just say horrible, horrible shit to the radio stations. They would say, what was that Detroit radio station that said, Gene Simmons, what an honor. Gene, you've been with some of the most famous women in the world. Am I right? Diana Ross, Cher.
I said, that's right. Can you name the others?
And they're like, are there more?
I'll give you a hint. She played a character named Precious. What?
I was saying really awful shit.
Is the KISS Army a real army? It is. We're declaring a jihad on fat chicks. And we're invading Minneapolis.
There's a story I told at the end of the roast of Gene Simmons at my segment that they cut out. And only for time. They said, hey, that was a really great story. It's just a long story. We couldn't fit it in. And I think this story exemplifies, besides the fact that Gene and Paul asked me to be here, I think it exemplifies how great of a sense of humor Gene has about himself. Which was, the guy who taught me how to do the Gene Simmons impression is a friend of mine named John Vianelli. He works for the band Aerosmith, okay? He's been working for Aerosmith for 20 years. And every time we talk to each other, whenever he picks up the phone, or I pick up the phone, we talk to each other like Gene Simmons. That's how we communicate with each other. John will pick up the phone and go, hello, and I'll go, hi John. This is Gene Simmons from KISS. And they'll go, Gene, what's up, buddy? And I go, not much. Listen, you know how much I love Aerosmith. I love them so much that their catalog is available at kissonline.com. Well, a few years ago, KISS and Aerosmith toured together. And John got a phone call from the real Gene Simmons. And he had never spoken to the real Gene Simmons before. He picked up the phone, and all he heard was, hi, John. This is Gene Simmons from KISS. And John said, what's up, you cheap Jew bastard? There's a long pause, and all he hears is, I'm sorry? And there's another long pause, and all Gene hears is, Craig? And Gene goes, no, it's not Craig. This is Gene Simmons from KISS. Now listen, I need you to get a hold of Stephen and Joe. I have a question. He went right to his question! And that's why I think Gene is the coolest guy, besides being in one of the greatest bands of all time. Are you guys having fun?
Hey man, what be this? And what be that? And why? Why you gotta look like that? I said, hey motherfucker, I am cool. I am the breeze. Hoorah.
Miami, okay, can I just tell you a story? Because last time I was in Miami, there's something really funny that happened. Who's actually from Miami? All right, let's see that first one. That's actually 1/10 of the crowd right there. Miami, Florida, true story. Miami, Florida, true story. Dade County Police are trying out a program right now where they're trying out baboons. Baboons to possibly replace drug-sniffing dogs. Why? Because baboons have a keener sense of smell and they have the agility to climb buildings and fire escapes. Baboons! So you're sitting in your 5th-story apartment one night, minding your own business, 5 stories above the ground, high as fuck, with your boy, Pepe. Where's the rest of your week? There's a monkey in your fucking. There's a monkey in your fucking. How do you say monkey in Spanish? Monkey door. Monkey door. He's pointing at me. All of a sudden, from outside your fire escape, a fucking baboon grabs your diamond. You're sitting on your couch going. Was that anybody from Cuba? He had a pink ass. Who's gonna stop the baboons? You know cops will go bad after 5-10 years. You got a baboon with a fucking badge, roaming the streets, fucking people up monkey style, grabbing your Twinkies, shitting in the middle of your living room. Kiss, and there's nothing but great vibes on this boat. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm going to end the show with something perfect. This is something I wrote for you guys, and I call it Yoda. This is Yoda doing Elvis. All right, here we go. And he's really old, so it takes him. I don't know why he's like Adam Sandler. And all right, this is this is something I call Yoda and do it now. Here we go. Here we go. Strong you are. Thank you very much. I'll be upstairs real quick. We're going to be in the gift shop. Come hang out with us. And thank